What's up, guys? Welcome into Good Morning Lambeau on this glorious Thanksgiving morning. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. You can email the show, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. You can text us 865-658-5824. Join alongside Tim in Green Bay here to talk Packers, Dolphins. This is going to kind of make as the it's going to, be the makeshift pregame show for this week. We're not going to be doing a pregame. Obviously, we'll be at some Thanksgiving Day family festivities, but we will be doing a post-game show immediately following the game. If you guys are not in a turkey coma by that time, you can tune in and hang out with us here late night as we recap everything that happened with the Packers-Dolphins game that's set to kick off here. What do we got? A 7:20 Lambeau kickoff. Is that right, Tim?
I believe so, yeah, 7:20.
Going to be on NBC. I think they said Mike Tirico and Jason Garrett will be calling the game. So should be a good time. I like Mike Tirico. He's one of my favorite announcers. Jason Garrett can get a little bit wonky at times, but I think it's more about him being on the camera and staring across, looking at people like this with his hands. That I'm like, that guy kind of looks like a serial killer. But we'll just move on to
the old Ricky Bobby. I'm not sure what to do with my hands.
It's funny watching the other people react to him because they're kind of looking at him like, yeah, bro, you look really uncomfortable right now. Just talk ball. It's okay. Just talk ball. He's a good dude, though. I like Jason Garrett personally. So other than the fact that he was a Dallas Cowboy, he's a pretty good guy. But with that being said, let's give a quick shout out to the good folks over at Ticket King, the official ticket provider of Packer Fan Total Access Live. Wisconsin-based since 92, specializing in Packers tickets. They're Wisconsin's largest ticket source with offices next to Lambeau and in Milwaukee. Click on the link in the video description and they'll send you their website, theticketking.com. You can register there and go ahead and start looking around at the Packers tickets. I know we got several games left on the schedule. Make sure you don't miss out on the Packers action and save yourself a little bit of time and money going to Ticket King, the official ticket provider of Packer Fan Total Access Live. So, Tim, obviously, man, big game tonight. I think it's going to be a great measuring stick for the Packers. You got a Dolphins team that, in my opinion, are way better than their record shows, especially with Tua at the helm and now seemingly healthy from the concussion issue. Now we know that can unfortunately raise its weary head at any moment, right? At the drop of a dime. That's something that could reemerge. We hope that doesn't happen tonight. I hope they kick the Dolphins' ass, but I hope that Tua stays healthy, both teams stay healthy, and we do it the right way and do it on the field, But here it is, game day, man. How you feeling about it so far?
Not nervous. Not more excitement than nerves. It's one of our favorite holidays here at our house. We love Thanksgiving. We're going to eat all day and watch some football. Packers get the primetime slot. I feel good about this game against the Dolphins. And you're right about the whole Tua thing. We just lost a guy to a concussion too, so prayers up for Romeo Doubs. Hopefully he's back soon. But, that's something that obviously this league takes very seriously, as they should, given the current state of things. And you never want to see a guy get concussed, and especially someone like Tua who's had like 130 of them or something. It's like you just pray that we get the dub and everyone gets out healthy, because as you round out a season, man, you want to see your teams at 100%, going hard. So best of luck to the Dolphins taking that L home to Miami today. Have fun with that.
Yeah, and I got to be honest, guys. I like Tua. I love what he said. There were so many people that were suggesting, hey, he just needs to retire. He needs to hang it up. And he took a few weeks off and then put that to bed and was like, listen, I'm playing football. Y'all can just get over it. I love it. I love the fact that he is a guy that just adores the game and doesn't want to do anything else with his life. Now, if you want to question whether or not it's smart for him to come back, I completely understand that. I get it. I don't know that I couldn't say that I would, after learning everything about CTE and all that. So you got to tip your cap to Tua, man. I think he plays the game the right way. You've seen him a couple weeks after he got back too, Tim, lowering his head, trying to throw a block. Like, he's going to play the game the way you're supposed to play it. And I think he's an efficient quarterback. I think Mike McDaniel, although he's quirky, I think he's great for the game. He brings a little bit different approach. You guys know we've talked extensively on the show about his connection with Matt LaFleur and how much they mean to each other. And, I think it's just it's all set for a perfect evening of football, man. Win or lose, it's going to be awesome. I think the Packers have a good shot of getting a dub tonight. I really do. But as we all know, man, it's got to be played on the field, and you got to protect that football. That's what it's going to come down to tonight, Tim. Who's going to protect the football, man?
Yeah, absolutely. And, who's going to get it done in the trenches, right? We talked about being a little thin at linebacker and having to get a little creative. Luckily, running the football is not the strong suit of the Miami Dolphins. However, we talked about that being a possibility. They may try to keep it on the ground, take it right to us. So, hopefully the guys execute today, and we're going to get a hell of a ball game. I already know that. But I feel like you do. I feel confident the Packers can get a dub and go into Detroit next week on a win streak, which is where we want to be.
Yeah, definitely. I know everybody in the chat following in. A happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Appreciate y'all making us a part of your morning here. I got the Macy's Day Parade on, the TV to the right. Mandy's watching it downstairs. She's making sausage pinwheels. Oh, my God. Bro, I've already been in that dip, too. You know, the dip that you're supposed to put in the dough. And no, we just give me a half a cup of that right now. Let's go ahead and start clogging these arteries. Let's get started early here on Thanksgiving morning. Daryl in the chat, good morning. Happy Thanksgiving again, Clay. Just about to grind some coffee beans this early morning. Man, there's nothing better than freshly ground coffee. No doubt about that.
Man, that's how you do it right there.
Yeah. All good in the chat. Joe Barry in Miami, 2 points on Vegas line for the Pack just because of that. So Joe Barry's still catching the slander from the Packer fans. I think terrible. It is it's interesting to have Joe Barry come back. These little storylines are what make the NFL really. You guys know Matt LaFleur and his entire coaching staff. They love Joe Barry. There's nobody in the organization that didn't like Joe Barry. It just didn't work out. The reality is, did your defense get better with Jeff Hafley? From a turnover standpoint, absolutely. And when you look at the scoring defense, which you guys know, that's the most important statistic to me. I believe we went from 12th to 9th as it sits right now. And there's a little bit of football left, and hopefully we can get up there around the top 5 by the end of the season. But I think it was definitely a good move. Hindsight's 20/20, Tim, but looking back, I think moving on to Jeff Hafley obviously was the move to make.
As they say, it is what it is, right? A lot of the fan base gave Joe Barry a lot of heat, and we understand where that comes from, passionate fan base and all of that. But you're absolutely right, man. Everybody in that building, there's no hate towards Joe Barry whatsoever. You'll probably see that during pregame. Keep an eye on the field shots during pregame. I'm sure you'll see a lot of hugs and handshakes and a lot of love for Joe Barry coming back to Green Bay. So, just got to respect him. And you're right, man. It just didn't work out. Hey, we gave it a 3-year experiment. Didn't work out. You move on. We're happy to have Coach Half here and the supporting cast that he's brought along. Coach Ansley, Coach Camp, Coach O. We got a lot of talent now on the defensive side of the ball, and that's not a knock on Joe Barry. It's just a sign of the times. You move onward and upward, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I guarantee if he gets a chance to shake Goody's hands at some point during pregame, he's going to go, why the hell didn't you get me Xavier McKinney? What's up with that? Right. So, but I appreciate you swinging through. All good. Good to see you in here, buddy. All right, so let's talk forecast here. There's a little bit of snow to the north right now, Tim, up there. Obviously, in the Bay, Sturgeon Bay getting hit pretty good right now. I've got a cousin that lives in a place up in Minnesota. I think it's a little further up. It's not Marinette, but it's got a really, really weird name, like a MEANAUKOA something. All those cool Wisconsin and Michigan names up there. But I know they get hammered with snow every year, more so than Green Bay does. But obviously, got a little snow to the north right now. Game time forecast. Looks pretty clean, although there's a little more wind than I had expected here. We were kind of expecting a calm night or hoping for a calm night. Looks like right around kickoff is going to be 27 degrees and cloudy. A 2% chance of some flurries. Obviously, probably not going to happen, but if you've ever been to Green Bay, sometimes that moisture can kick up there on the lake. Next thing you know, you got a nice little snow shower falling. The wind is going to be west-northwest at 10 miles an hour. Then by 9 o'clock, it's going to drop to 26 degrees. And it's going to kick up to about 12 miles an hour. So you're looking at somewhere between probably 9 to 13 mile an hour winds during the game here. And I don't know, Tim, I was expecting to be a little bit calmer. I think that if you get a 12 mile an hour gust, that could move a field goal kick, and that might affect the passing game just a touch. At least it's nothing over 15 or 20, though, right?
Right, exactly. And we've talked before about the unique swirls that you get at field level when it comes to the wind at Lambeau. I mean, you can look up at the flags on the goalposts, or you can see the beautiful stars and stripes flying above Lambeau Field, blowing in one direction, and then you're on the field and it it's like rotating, and it's doing crazy stuff down at field level. So something to keep an eye on. Hopefully it's not too bad, but makes me feel good about our offense and our ability to run this football, that if we absolutely had to keep it on the ground, I think we still have a great shot at winning the game. I think the wind might be more of a factor for Miami's offense going forward. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, Prince taking a swing at that name. I actually pulled it up. It's not as bad as I thought. It's
Manakwa.
I think it's called Menominee, Michigan is the one I was thinking of. Yeah, Prince was taking a swing here. But, yeah, I'm from Kentucky, man. I can't spell. I can't read. You guys know this. It is what it is. Yeah, they get hammered up there in Menominee. That's what it says on his Facebook page, unless he's laying low from the government. Whoever knows with my family, you know how that goes. So we will not mention his legal name for obvious reasons. So, Tim, is there anything else you want to hit on here pregame before we jump into the PFF grades? Anything kind of grab your attention before we jump in, man?
What the hell is Brett Favre doing here?
I'm in town to play the Dolphins, you dumbass.
Just that. Just wanted to check in.
That's all we need, right? We could also pull up the playoff simulator. I didn't think about that, man. What if let's do that before we get into the PFF grades. We're already
the what? The what is it called?
I think it's called the
playoff
simulator.
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs?
Kidding me? Playoffs? All right, so let's see if we can get this pulled up here and just kind of look at what's on the line. I haven't seen the percentile, in terms of, hey, if the Packers win, what are their chances of making it? We know last week, I think it jumped to 92% chance of making the playoffs now. But this is a really cool little program that you can kick up here. Actually, let me put us back on the screen if you don't mind. You can stay off, Tim. You're good, buddy.
I'm staring at I got my face right up by the screen.
Right, yeah.
I'm old and blind. I got to see what we're working with.
It's very small font for sure. I'll be batting my eyes like a crackhead here because of the cameras or the camera lights in my face. But so obviously we got the Bears and the Lions today, right? I think we feel comfortable. Let's choose the Packers winning first of all. What changes if the Packers win? Nothing outright, right? Just with their win, there's no guarantee they're going to slide up. Or let's see if with the loss, what happens? Nothing, right? So let's go through and kind of pick the games, what we think may happen, and see what changes here, Tim. All right, so let's start with the Packers game. Let's say the Packers win, right? Let's be a little positive.
Let's be positive, like AFAM, Mr. Positivity. Let's be positive.
Exactly. AFAM's still in bed, I guarantee it right now, man. So Chicago Bears or Detroit Lions. I mean, if you had to bet the farm, these are the teams we're picking, okay? I'll say the Lions, don't you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right, let's go Lions. Let's go Giants, Cowboys, and let's be somewhat optimistic as long as it's realistic here, right? Neither of those teams really matter, but let's say the Giants do knock off the Cowboys in Jerry World, okay? Let's say that. Well, now let's go worst case. I'm sorry. Let's kind of see worst case with the Packers win. Let's say we handle our business and everyone else handles their business, okay? So the Cowboys win that game. We won't worry about the Raiders and the Chiefs. We won't worry about the AFC teams. Let's slide on over. Let's say that the Falcons, who are currently the 4th seed, let's say they win, okay? They win the game. Let's say the Seahawks beat the Jets, all right? Let's say the Vikings. Who do we want to say here, the Vikings or the Cardinals to win this game?
I think Minnesota probably wins that game.
All right, so let's go Minnesota. Tennessee, Washington. I think Washington wins that game most likely.
Oh, yeah.
Tampa Bay and Carolina. Let's say Tampa Bay wins. All right.
Rams win.
Yeah. Rams beat the Saints. I think that's safe to say. What is the Saints record now? Because you see a highlight sometime. It sounds like they're having a good year. And then you look at the record. You have 4-7.
4-7. Yeah.
The Rams are at 5-6. So we'll go Rams there. Eagles, Ravens. That's interesting there.
That could be a heck of a ball game right there.
Yeah, no doubt. Cold weather in Baltimore, I'm sure. I don't know. I imagine it's probably a late 4:00 game.
Man,
probably.
2 huge AFC, NFC matchups there. San Fran and Buffalo. You've got Philly and Baltimore, yeah.
Yeah, and San Fran and Buffalo, too, they're expecting anywhere from 3 inches to like a foot of snow. So you might end up with a blizzard up there. That would be awesome, much like the Cleveland game the other night, which was it was magical watching that game. Yeah. So let's go worst case scenario for the Packers and say Philly wins. All right.
And then we'll take the Niners for
that.
There
you go. Okay. So if all that happens and the Packers win, right, they're still the 6th seed. Nothing really changes across the NFC. Now let's go through and handpick. Let's say the Packers lose this game. All right. You're still in the 6th seed. So you really don't see any chance for the Packers dropping here, right, Tim? I mean, we picked all the teams that would probably affect the Packers if they win, and we're still sitting in the 6th seed. So you got yourself in a good spot, you know?
I guess the interesting thing would be a victory for us, and if for some strange reason Kyler Murray and the boys can take care of business against the Vikings, we would be tied for second, right? We'd both be 9-3 football teams.
Yeah, so let's do
that.
that.
Would be an interesting little wrinkle.
Got it. Let's do that. Let's pick a Packers win, and then let's say that the Cardinals beat the Vikings. Still stays the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're still the 5 seed, but like you said, we have a tied record, and now we control our own destiny to climb up into the 5 seed when we play the Vikings a little later in the year, right?
Absolutely.
Let's see what else we could change up here. The Washington Commanders, nothing's going to change there. Really, there's nothing else, you know, when you think about it across the NFC. So I think you hit the nail on the head. It's the big thing to watch for. Now, listen, you want all the NFC teams to lose, obviously, and especially the teams that are right behind the Packers. Like if we pulled up the standings on the screen real quick, like Tampa, the LA Rams, the Cardinals. See, if the Cardinals lose, that helps. That loses.
It also helps,
helps.
Right? Yeah.
So that's one of those games you just sit back, drink a daddy soda, enjoy the ride. You know what I mean?
Yep.
If the Cardinals lose and Tampa loses, right? Then it really is just the Cardinals. If the Cardinals lose, you're just about almost guaranteed the Packers are going to be in the playoffs. You know.
Yep.
So I would never root for the Vikings against anyone other than another divisional opponent where there's playoff ramifications there. So it's just tough. But if the Vikings were to win that, again, that's going to drop. That's going to give us a lot more cushion, I guess I should say. So
definitely
look at that. And I'm glad we did that. It's fun to look at the playoff simulator. And again, shout out to Aaron Rodgers, not the Aaron Rodgers, but our Aaron Rodgers that suggested us start doing. I'm pretty sure it was him that sent that over to me for Twitter. So we'll continue to hit that as we get a little closer to the playoffs. So interesting, man. Interesting. The Packers are in a good spot. Now, if they go out and win this game, Tim, boy, oh boy, we're now you're in a position where it's like, okay, what can we work on as we ease into the playoffs to build even more momentum, even more confidence, and maybe some facets of the game that we're not so confident in at the moment. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe you get the passing game going a little bit more with less pressure on your back of, hey, we got to win every single game to make the playoff. You know what I mean? Because sometimes teams, they use up all their ammo going into the playoffs and they get to round one and they're out of here, right?
Yep. So true. The real season starts when the playoffs start. Well, really today is really like, man, it's getting real now, you know?
Yeah, definitely, man. Let's see, Ron Sample in the chat. Cardinals playing good. They will beat the Vikings, in my opinion. That would be awesome, man. You know, go ahead and knock them down a notch and put us in a position to take that 5 seed and create even more insurance in terms of getting into the playoffs. That would be awesome. All right. So anything else you want to hit on as far as the playoff watch there, Tim?
No, just glad we got these two guys at the helm as we make the playoff push right there. Shug Hafley and Tupac LaFleur, baby. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, no doubt. AFAM in the chat says Jalen Waddle's hot right now. He really is. We showed that last game. He hit on, I think, 2 of the explosive plays, right?
Yep.
They had 3 explosive passing plays in that game, I believe. He hit on 2 of those, one of which was like a 26 or 27-yard touchdown. So, Jalen Waddle's definitely in the hunt right now. They've been trying to put Tyreek Hill on the outside, drawing attention, and using Waddle in the slot. Now, you can use both of those guys the same way. They can use Tyreek Hill as that F as well with the jet motion, all that stuff. You want to get the ball in his hands as much as you can. So it's going to be interesting to see how Jeff Hafley tries to defend this team. So, all right, let's do it, man. Let's jump into the PFF preview. We'll go full screen, make it a little bit easier. Tim, if there's anything I can do to make it better on you, let me know. But let's kind of
I just need new glasses, Clayton. That's on me. I'll get my own glasses.
Mandy's downstairs shaking her head right now. I'm supposed to wear glasses. And, man, I just can't. It gives me such a headache, man. I can't do it. My head's so fat that it pinches in on the side and gives me a headache, you know? And I'm like, I'd rather just not be able to see that car coming at me.
Clayton's supposed to wear glasses, and he's over here like,
I'm not going to, so quit asking.
It's only going to get worse, Tim. It's only going to get worse, but that's the way it goes. All right, PFF grade, PFF preview. Let's look at the 11 personnel, Packers 11 personnel offense against the Dolphins nickel defense. So Packers are looking better every week, Tim. Tucker Kraft is now at a 61. That's the big thing that sticks out to me. He's climbed into the 60s. Jordan Love, 72.4. He's the 22nd highest graded quarterback as it sits right now. And as you guys may or may not be aware here, I won't be able to pull it up on the screen, but I'll read it to you. If it'll pull it up. Actually, it is struggling to pull that up. Sometimes this happens on game day. I don't know what it is. I was trying to pull up his last few games. Actually, this may have done it. No, it did not. All right. He's on a bit of a heater. He's graded out in the 70s, I think, his last 5 games, if I remember correctly, Tim. So Jordan Love playing a lot better football. Now, again, the turnovers have got to stop. I don't care if you grade out at a 93 every week. If you're turning the ball over, I would much rather have a quarterback that grades out in the 60s and doesn't throw interceptions than a quarterback that grades out in the 90s and throws 3 picks, because it's all about winning the ball game, right?
That's right.
But, again, you're seeing him if anything, he's been more consistent here lately, with the exception of a couple of those airmail balls, right, and his inaccuracy. So we get that kind of tuned up a little bit. I feel like he's making much better decisions now. It's just a matter of getting that accuracy, focusing on the mechanics and all that. But again, we read off a stat yesterday that he's one of only 5 quarterbacks in NFL history to have however many touchdowns it was in a 26-game span or a 23-game span, whatever it was, in there with Dan Marino, Patrick Mahomes. There was I think it might have been Tom Brady too, I believe. There's like 3 of the 5 guys on the list are first ballot Hall of Famers, and I think the only one that really wasn't, the only 2 that weren't were Tony Romo and Jordan Love. And when you kind of look at how Tony Romo's career, trajectory was, Tim, I think that's a pretty decent comparison in terms of production. Tony Romo and Jordan Love.
Yeah. The only difference being that Jordan Love's going to hoist the Lombardi trophy, and Romo never got there.
There you go. All right, so Jordan Love, 72.4. Josh Jacobs, though, don't look now, boys, 88.9 PFF grade. My man, he is just absolutely on fire. Again, he's officially – this is his 2nd highest graded season. And, again, we got a little bit of football left here. But in 2022, where he was the best back in the league, he graded out a 91.6. He's currently sitting at an 88.9, and he is eating up the carries too. That's the big thing, Tim. Lead receiving grade as well, man, 75.
Yeah, and we talked about that early in the season. Get him north of 25 carries a game, good things are going to happen. And these past few games, man, they've been doing that. I believe he had 26 carries on Sunday. So hopefully we see more of that today. You gotta use a guy like this. He's a workhorse type of back. We give him a light load during practice during the week because we know we're going to utilize him a lot on game day. One of the things that's always fun to watch with him is when he does take a play off and they pull him out and rotate Emmanuel Wilson in or something. You see Josh Jacobs, man, he goes right to that sideline. He's just waiting to go back on the field. Yeah, he doesn't go to the bench. He doesn't, he stands right there and just waits for an opportunity to get back out there. And you got to respect a guy like that. That's what the greats do, man. When the game's on the line, when it matters, give me the ball. I want the ball in my hands. I want to help my team win. That's Josh Jacobs for sure. And I hope the carry totals are there. And target him in some of those swing passes and things too. Get him going. We can utilize him in the pass game as well. Just a multi-threat, versatile running back, and we're blessed to have him here in Green Bay.
Yeah. So receiver-wise, Christian Watson, 70.3. You got Jaden Reed at 72.6. Obviously, Romeo Doubs is out with the concussion, so Dontavion Wicks is going to step in. Dontavion Wicks took a huge step back this year, according to PFF. 57.3. We know the drops have been an issue. That last game, he had an explosive, what was it, like a 27-yard on the dig route there. So maybe he'll come alive today. Tim, also, man, I got to be real with you. You guys know I was the biggest Dontavion Wicks fan going in this year. I thought he may end up being the best receiver on this team by the end of this year. I was completely wrong with that assessment. But Bo Melton and Malik Heath, I'm excited about Bo Melton. People don't know this. Bo Melton is faster than Christian Watson.
Yep. Yeah, he's the fastest receiver on our team for sure.
And the stride length is a real thing too. Greg Cosell's the one who turned me on to that. So just because you're clocked as or not necessarily clocked as the fastest, but yeah, I mean the fastest 40-yard dash on the team, sometimes stride length can play a role in terms of deception and being able to run away from defenders. So that is a thing that favors Christian Watson, seeing that he's 6'4", 6'5". But with Bo, I want to see Bo Melton on the field. I guess here's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to be polite. I want to see Bo Melton and Malik Heath on the field more than Dontavion Wicks today. And I never thought I would say that. And after this game, I may feel different about that, Tim. I may go back and go, nope, done with that. Let's get Wicks back on the field. I don't know how you feel about it, but I do know this. Seeing how often that they put Dontavion Wicks in that wing position last week tells me everything you need to know about what Matt LaFleur thinks about Dontavion Wicks, because that dude is a dog at run blocking. He's our second best run blocking receiver, and we're talking about in the game plan today, you want to establish the run. He's probably going to be in the lineup a lot, man.
Yeah, I would agree, and I'm with you on the Tay Wicks sentiment right now. I mean, let's be honest. You call it what you want. It's the sophomore slump, right? Year two, he kind of hit a little bit of a slump with some of the drop issues and that kind of thing. But the guy still runs crispy routes. The guy's a hell of a run blocker, like you said. And, sometimes you got to just let guys play their way out of that crap. We're making a playoff push here. He is a contributor on this offense. But, that being said, I agree with the sentiment. I'm a huge Malik Heath fan. I was really excited when he came to camp a couple years ago. And, this is the type of game you want a guy like Malik Heath on the field, right? Scrappy, gritty kind of player, good hands, another good run blocker as well. So I think we'll see a little bit of that. And then, of course, Bo Melton, man, using him as the flyer instead of Jaden Reed on some of these, that works. We've seen success with that. And, the other thing, Bo's a hell of a special teamer as well. Really helps us in the kicking unit and things like that too. So, I think we'll probably see Bo and Malik today. But I'm keeping an eye on Tay Wicks, man. I think, you might see him get a couple of targets and cash in on those opportunities. He had one nice catch last week, and, hopefully he'll get a couple targets today, give himself a chance to play his way out of this slump a little.
Yeah, for sure. On the offensive line, listen, Rasheed Walker, 65.2, and I know that doesn't look too appealing on the surface. Look at that pass block grade, Tim. I mean, 82.5. What else can you ask for from a 7th-round pick who's starting at the most important position on the offensive line? Now, his run blocking grade of a 46.8. Obviously, that's absolute cheeks. I'm not saying that PFF is accurate in that assessment, but when you look at the pass blocking grade and then you look at the sacks allowed, the pressures allowed, that really matches up with the PFF grade in terms of pass blocking. So Rasheed Walker having a solid year there at left tackle. Elton Jenkins is now up to a 63.1. He's the 39th highest graded guard. That's good to see. I know that last game he had an excellent grade. So he's up to an 82.8 pass blocking grade, a 59 run blocking grade as it sits right now. So that's really, really good to see from Big E. Zach Tom, a dog, 6th highest graded tackle in all of football. That includes left tackles too, gang. 85.3. Get this damn guy a contract tomorrow. Get him locked up and save yourself some money. You don't need to see anything else with Zach Tom. Get him paid and get that extended out to where you can really manipulate the salary cap with that. That's just my personal opinion on that front. Now, the weak link, according to PFF, is Josh Myers at center at a 51.5, right? And when you look at his career grades, 2021, 54.9, 2022, 60.4, 2023, 54.7, and then this year he's at a 51.5. So it's showing that this is his lowest graded year according to PFF. Pass blocking grade, 69.3. That's not bad. That run blocking grade of 46.4. Again, absolutely horrendous there if you put that much stock in PFF. Now, Sean Ryan playing a lot better than any of us expected him to. Offensive grade 56.7, pass blocking grade of 67.6, but a run blocking grade of 52.9. He's definitely getting better. Tim, last year 49.3. This year he's jumped up. What is that? I don't even know how many spots that is. What is that? 6 spots, roughly 6 points to a 56.7. You're seeing improvement from Sean Ryan, man. And we got one more year on that contract too, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, absolutely. Still on the rookie deal. we talked a lot about Sean, the rookie season kind of being a wash with the issues. But I think a lot of guys were ready to kind of write him off after last year, because we did see some flashes last year, but completely inconsistent. This year, we've seen improvement flashes and a little bit more consistency out of him. And the pass block grade is awesome. And the run block grade is slowly creeping up there. I think we could be looking back in a couple of years and being real grateful for Sean Ryan being a part of this team.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Again, we talked about Tucker Kraft being a 61. And that pretty much rounds out your offense. Let's move over to their defense real quick, and we'll go rapid fire here. Tim, on the surface, PFF grade wise, looking like a solid defense. They got the second highest graded corner in Jalen Ramsey, coming in at 83.0. He's playing some of his best football ever. That's his 4th highest graded year so far out of however many seasons. What would that be? 6, roughly 9 seasons now. So Jalen Ramsey playing like a number 1 corner, no doubt about it. On the opposite side, I think you've got an injury there, if I remember correctly. They're missing Fuller. So Storm Duck. I'm going to repeat. This guy's name is Storm Duck.
Man, he sounds like a character in a comic book or something.
Yeah, I was going to say like in Roger Rabbit or something, doesn't he? Storm Duck busts in and tries to save Roger. Anyway, his grade 68.3, pretty solid, man. I don't know how many snaps. Let's take a look. Last week he had a significant amount of snaps. He had 37 passing snaps and 12 running snaps. So pretty much played every snap last week for the Dolphins. He's playing decent ball, albeit a smaller sample size for sure. In the slot, however, if this is accurate, they've got Kadar Kohu, I'm assuming, from Texas A&M. So Texas A&M Commerce Lions, I guess he played for a smaller school as well. Defensive grades of 52.9, coverage grade 59.5, run defense grade of only 40.6. How about we run out of 11 personnel today, Tim? How about we get an 11, force him into the nickel, and run that outside stretch right at his chin? What do you think? I
love it. We talk about that all the time, our ability to throw the ball out of run sets and run the ball out of passing sets, right? Get that nickel defense on the field and make them look foolish. Yep. And I think in the passing game, with all due respect to Jalen Ramsey, obviously one of the more premier corners in the NFL of the last really decade or so. Like you said, man, he's in his ninth year, something like that, grading out really high. However, we know he's got 2 bad knees, and my attitude is, reputation be damned, I'm going right at him today. I don't care who we got lined up over there. Let's get him targets. Let's make Jalen Ramsey earn his game check and not let his reputation as being a quote-unquote shutdown corner screw with our game plan. I think we go right at this guy and make him earn it today. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, no, I think my favorite highlight reel of Jalen Ramsey was when Aaron shrugged him off and threw him off to the side. If you remember that famous picture of Jalen Ramsey laying on the ground and Aaron Rodgers celebrating in the end zone is just absolutely awesome. Listen, you shouldn't be afraid of anyone. You want to exploit their weak spots, because as you exploit those weak spots, they then start to overcompensate in that direction, and then that really opens up things to attack like Jalen's side,
Yeah. Let's scoot over there, man. Let's run some 9 routes all day.
See if he can run with him, right?
Get Ramsey trying to run with him, and then lo and behold, we'll see a few plays later he's playing off. And then when he plays off, what do? We change it up. We hit those underneath, right? We got the high-low concepts going. I want to see Ramsey having to work today. I don't want him out there winning on reputation.
Yeah, definitely. Prince in the chat. Kohu's birthday today, so go easy on him. Sorry about it, man.
Sorry, he can get targeted too. Let's go.
About to get that birthday spanking. You know what I'm saying? That's what's happening today. Now, listen, their defensive front is solid, Tim. Let's see. So they've got Emmanuel Ogbah on one side. This is probably the weakest link at edge for them at a 56.1. But when you get to the middle here, man, they got 2 of the best interior defensive linemen. Calais Campbell. Yeah.
Entering his 47th season in the NFL.
Yeah. PFF said, you don't even want to see this. We're not even going to put it on the screen. It's so good.
It's taken so long to load his numbers.
Right. 79.7 for Calais Campbell. This guy's been playing
2008 rookie
football since 1943, man. It's
holy cow.
So again, man, 79.7. You can't. What's crazy is it's a little bit lower than he graded out last year, and it kind of shows you how interior defensive line has not performed as well as it has in the past. Seeing that last year at an 80.0, he was the 23rd highest graded defensive lineman. This year at 79.7, he's the 6th highest graded defensive lineman.
Yep.
So there might be a little bit of a trend there across the league, but
Calais might be an adjustment for him going from, having to wear the old Leatherhead kind of helmet to, wearing actual helmets now. He's been playing so long. So,
yeah, definitely. And then opposite of him, you've got Zach Seiler at a 77.9, another solid defensive lineman. I don't know who their defensive line coach is down there, but boy, they know what the hell they're doing because they got these guys humming, no doubt about it. And I do know though that who their linebacking coach is, and that is our very own Joe Barry. Now, when we look at their linebackers, at least in the nickel set, Tyrell Dodson, who I think they picked him up in free agency this year, if I remember correctly, Tim. I think he was one of those guys that was on the market. But, he graded out in 2023 as the highest graded linebacker at 90.2. This year, he's sitting at a 67. He has eaten up the snaps, though, with well over or right at 600 snaps. So he's definitely been durable, staying in the game. And then he's got Jordan Brooks right next to him. Got that Cadillac haircut, that hairline just a little bit too low for the eyebrows there. You know what I'm saying, Tim? That happens from time to time. 6'1", 245. He's thicker than a bowl of oatmeal. 68 PFF grade this year. This is hands down his best year. Pretty wild, man. Joe Barry got a hold of Brooks, and he's having his best year. And now Tyrell Dodson taking a slight step back. But I don't think there's nothing like overly great about their linebacking core, but they damn sure ain't bad, man.
Yeah. Austin Clark, defensive line coach for the Miami Dolphins. I just looked it up. He's been there. He joined Miami as an outside linebackers coach in 2020, was promoted to defensive line coach in 2021. So he's been their D-line coach the last few seasons.
Got it. Good stuff, man. Appreciate you looking that up. Now, at safety, Jordan Poyer, when you hear that name, you think, man, great safety. But it seems like, Tim, he is starting to take a step back this year. We'll give it a second to load. 58.8. He's the 63rd highest graded safety in the league currently. And then opposite him is Holland with a 62.7. That's how that sits right there. There's Poyer. You can see when you look at Poyer's career grades, 60, 71, 58, 58. In 2017, he jumped to an 87, then 68, 74, 71, 77. That's as stable as you can get right there. I mean, that is just solid consistency. Then he drops to a 65.7, back up to a 67 last year, and now he's dropped to a 58 this year currently. So Jordan Poyer probably on his way out of the league, but again, you can't take for granted some of these veteran safeties in the league, no doubt. Javon Holland next to him. Last year graded out a 90.4. This year he has dipped to a 62.7. So the safeties have definitely taken a dip there. We're going to have to go rapid fire. We're going to run out of time here. Let's jump over to defense, and let's look at their 21 and 12 personnel. So we're going to go with our base defense as it sits right now, Tim. McDuffie's questionable. That's going to be the big thing that we want to key in on here with the Packers. If he does play, he's graded out a 56.7. Again, if he doesn't play, you're probably going to rely on Big Nickel a little bit more. Quay Walker's up to a 55.8. And then Eric Wilson, man, with that 80.4. Tim, it makes me feel good that Eric Wilson's going to be forced to play snaps this week. It really does, man.
Yeah, I love it. And also, sidebar, a chance to get another look at Tyron Hopper tonight as well, who should have plenty of snaps in this game.
Yeah. Again, Evan Williams up to 81.5. He's the 7th highest graded safety. Xavier McKinney, 87.4. He's the 4th highest graded safety. And it looks like the way PFF projects the cornerbacks, we got Valentine and Nixon on the outside. Valentine's sitting at a 52.5. Nixon is at a 60.9 currently. When we go to the defensive front, they've got J.J. Enagbare as the starting edge defender at a 61.6. If I had one game to win and I had to choose between LVN and J.J. Enagbare, I'm probably going with Enagbare myself. That's just me personally. A little more experience. He's shown more on the field, but I think upside, obviously, LVN's got the slight advantage there. And LVN's on a bit of a heater after that last game. You might get him a few more snaps, and who knows, Tim, he might catch fire. Next thing you know, you've got your starting edge defender opposite Rashawn Gary. Absolutely.
And I feel good about, like you said, going with JJ to start, and then you rotate LVN in on some of these looks. Maybe give Rashawn, a breather here and there, and we've got LVN and Enagbare out there together. There's ways you can play around with it, but I would agree, man. You go with the experience of a guy like Kingsley and Igbare.
Yeah. And the big struggle obviously been interior defensive line. Kenny Clark, a 50.2, TJ Slayton at a 44.
PFF does not like TJ Slayton
at all.
At all. And he's been playing pretty good lately. So,
yeah, it really feels like it, man. When you watch him on tape, I don't see what they've seen to go, other than when he's eating up a double team, him not really getting after the quarterback and kind of lagging back. And it goes back to what we were saying with what Hafley's been doing with the defensive lineman, It is what it is. Kenny Clark, again, 50.2. It's pretty bad. Rashawn Gary's now up to a 70. So you can see he's hands down our best defensive lineman, definitely our best edge defender, as he's continuing to inch his way towards 2023 form, sitting at a 70.0. I think he's poised for another strong game this week. And obviously the snap count was down for everyone last week with the way we controlled the ball, controlled the clock against the Niners. That's why you see such a low snap count number there for everyone last week. So I want to see Rashawn Gary. If you'll remember, Tim, last Thanksgiving, it was him and Jordan Love on the national stage that just absolutely took over the game. I think Gary had 3 sacks in that game, including a strip sack of Jared Goff. And Jordan Love obviously just went absolutely on fire in that game as well.
Yeah. Today I'm looking for Rashawn to, occupy those doubles, set that edge, keep that edge. Let's keep Tua in the pocket today. Not let him get out of there.
All right, let's take a look at this Miami Dolphins offense, which is totally different with Tua at the helm. Tua grading out a 71.2. He's the 25th highest graded quarterback in the league. Their fullback is Ingold. All right. He's a 48.2. He is the 7th highest graded fullback out of 7 fullbacks. But again, you don't have to be a great fullback to throw a wrinkle into a defense's game plan when you're running out of, like we've seen on the tape, 22 personnel, 21 personnel. They had at one point they had 3 backs on the field. They do a lot of interesting stuff. But Achane, man, Devon Achane or Devin Achane, however you say his name, man, he's a good back. Last year, 91.2 is the highest graded running back in all of professional football. In 2024, he's grading out as the 10th highest at 81.9. He's definitely stabilized that grade, no doubt about it.
Can you go back to that screen real quick on him?
Yeah.
Interesting to note too. Most of his snaps come in the pass game.
Yeah.
See that right there? Most of his snaps are in the pass game.
Yeah, they're very pass-heavy offense.
Yep.
They like to run the ball too, don't get me wrong, but you would think with Mike McDaniel being the run game guru of the Shanahan tree, you would see far more runs than passes, and it's just not the case with the Dolphins. I see what you're saying, though. Yeah, what I think what you're saying is they damn sure don't take him off the field in passing situations, right?
Right, exactly. And then I think looking at their O-line, the way that their offensive line stacks up, I would anticipate if they are going to put the ball on the ground and run, it's probably going to be a lot of off tackle or outside zone type stuff, right? The inside of their old line looks like where they're struggling. They're pretty good at the tackles, so we'll see.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so look for Achane to be a factor tonight. Now, at wide receiver, Jalen Waddle, a 69.7. He's grading out as the 50th highest graded receiver in the league.
Your boy from Kentucky is going to have his hands full today.
Yeah, he is, man. And it's going to be interesting, especially out of those base sets, how we choose to defend this. But if there's one thing you need to know about Carrington Valentine, he does not shy away from a big matchup. Like, he is that dude that kind of welcomes that. That's definitely the positive in his game is the stage is never too big for him. The issue with Carrington Valentine is the consistency, and that's how it was at Kentucky. And that's why Coach Stoops said when they lost him, hey, we just lost the emotional leader on our team, because he's that dude that he is not going to be intimidated by anyone. But again, got to create more consistency. You're right, Tim. It's going to be tough to defend these guys. But Jalen Waddle, he's grading out as a solid number 2 receiver. That's what Waddle's grading out as. Tyreek Hill, same thing, 70.9. That's a solid number 2 receiver. So they haven't went completely crazy this year. But when you put those two on the field together in this crazy running attack that Mike McDaniel can scheme up, he can do some amazing things, especially with Tyreek Hill's speed and Jalen Waddle's route running ability there when you go to 11 personnel and into the slot. Now, their tight end, if this is their starting tight end, Julian Hill, 42.9. not really a concern there. Although, Tim, if you forget about those guys, they leak out in the second level. Next thing you know, they're gashing you for 18. So you got to be real careful there. Armstead, their left tackle. I think did we get the latest? Is he questionable or is he definitely good to go? Let me pull this up real quick. Terran Armstead, he's questionable.
Wow,
Man,
that would be huge.
Yeah, if he didn't play, that would be absolutely huge. He is the second highest graded tackle in the league at a 90.8 currently, just playing phenomenal football at the moment. Their center, Brewer, the fourth highest graded center in the league. Aaron Brewer, 6'1", 274, undersized there as a center. That's really, really interesting. Went to Texas State as well.
Mm-hmm.
His grade's 77.9. So playing
interesting that he's better at run blocking than pass blocking.
Right, being so small, right?
Yeah, crazy.
If that weight is accurate there, obviously. And then you got Kendall Lamb. He's grading out a 69.0 at the right tackle.
Happy State alum right there.
Yeah, man. Back in the sticks. Hey, if you ever get a chance to go to Boone, North Carolina, it's worth your trip. And it's a little bit damaged still from the flooding and everything, the storms that rolled through right now. But, man, what an awesome little place to go. That, and we're getting ready to make a trip up to Blowing Rock, North Carolina, and go up there as soon as it gets cold enough that they get plenty of snow. We're going to go up there and spend a weekend. It's nice. North Carolina is an awesome state, man, especially when you get into western North Carolina, where it's closer to the Tennessee line.
Yeah.
A lot of beautiful mountains back in here. So, all right, there's your travel update of the week. Liam Ockenberg is grading out a 55.5 at right guard. Nothing crazy there. And then their left guard, pretty solid, though. Robert Jones grading out a 61.5. Not horrible. So, Tim, this offense, man, they can do some damage. There's no doubt about it. If we go to 12 personnel, we'll look at this and then we'll wrap up real quick. 12 personnel, that's going to put Jonnu Smith on. I knew they had a tight end that was solid. Jonnu Smith, I don't know why they don't have him starting in the base on PFF. I don't know if that's accurate. It could be. It might not be. Jonnu Smith came from New England. And before that, I think he was in Tennessee. And, man, he has really, really thrived in this McDaniel offense. A 77.8. It's hands down his highest graded year. His receiving grade's an 83.3. Not the best run blocker, but this guy, he's kind of that H-back hybrid. And they traditionally has a tight end down there in Miami. Watch for Jonnu Smith. That's going to be one of those guys that you look up and go, okay, how do we stop him, right? If you play a three deep coverage, then a lot of cover three and that cover one man that we talk about, you kind of got the receivers harnessed somewhat, but it can open things up underneath, especially seeing that we're a little lighter at linebacker this week.
I feel like with his numbers there, like you said, being more of a pass catching threat type of tight end and not a very good run blocker, I feel like if we're watching our personnel and you see Jonnu Smith on the field, I'm screaming pass. There's, you know what I mean? I'm not going to say there's no chance they run when he's on the field, but if they switch up personnel and he's lined up at tight end, I'd be looking for a pass play, whether he's targeted or not.
And that's where the issue comes into play with the RPO, because you look at the snaps. I completely agree with you, right? You got 36 passing snaps, and 36 passing snaps and only 11 running snaps. But what the defense does is going to dictate whether that's a run or a pass. So, to me, what you said is 100% accurate. And then to peel it back an extra layer, you go, okay, wait a second. Are they choosing to run the ball, right? Or are they choosing to pass the ball when Jonnu Smith's on there because they're really keen in on the run? Meaning, if they run like an RPO glance or an RPO Y flat, right, with Jonnu Smith, and the defense, the backers, or even the nickel back or the safety, the spur safety that might be in the box bots on the run, they may just be dumping it out to Jonnu Smith. If we have more time, we would go to NFL Pro and go, okay, where's he cutting these people up at, right? That would be kind of the way to look at that. Matter of fact, Mandy's going to kill me. We're going to be quick. Let's do it. Let's do it, Tim. Let's pop this down real quick. And I'm going to put up the NFL Pro. And we're just going to really, really quickly see if we could just find a couple of his explosive plays. So let's drop this down. And let me get NFL Pro up for the Dolphins. I think this will be good. What we've uncovered here is Jonnu Smith is going to be a game changer, right? Like that's very, very possible. So let's go to stats. NFL Pro is absolutely awesome.
Shout out to Braden in the chat. Jonnu Smith, that tight end, has been dangerous lately. Yes, absolutely.
So he's got 63 targets, 48 catches, right, and 4 touchdowns. So let's go to the catches. and let's see if we can identify the explosives real quick. Let's look at some of these plays that are a little bit more of a chunk. Boy, he's got just a bunch of small ones, Tim. And then you got a bunch of 17, 16, 18. You know what I mean? Let's go recent since we don't have a whole lot of time and see what he's done here recently. Like with the Dolphins, there's 9 yards, 11 or 7 yards, 14 yards, 13 yards, 7 yards. Just trying to get a glance here, 12 yards. So let's focus in on this 14-yard. Let's see how they used him in this 14-yarder here real quick. All right, let's pause it. Let's go full screen. All right. Let's identify Jonnu Smith. I'm pretty sure Jonnu is probably flexed out right there. Maybe in the slot. Let's see. We'll know when the ball gets out to him. Let's see if this is an RPO, first of all. This is not an RPO. All right. Ball snap. Just a quick little out route, right? Okay. And it looked like on that route, they're playing shell coverage, which we don't play a whole lot of shell this year. So
shout out to Murph in the chat. Right on time. Murph, a lot of two shell high today, too high shell.
And it's probably why they're doing it is because Tyreek Hill, right? Yep. But when you go too high shell, in this case, right, whether you're playing a cover 2, kind of almost look like a hybrid Tampa 2 there with 23 covering the seam, that's going to open up things underneath, right? And just Tua getting his guy in space there, man. So.
Shout out to Mick Knight in the chat too. Quay covering Jonnu Smith? Question mark.
Ooh, I like it. You got to worry about that wheel. Quay's damn good at covering that wheel route. Let's go to this 11-yard one real quick, and then we'll wrap up. Let's see what this 11-yard variety look like here. So Jonnu, I think, is right here in the slot. So they've got him flexed in the slot. I'm pretty sure that's him right there. Looks like him. It might be him up top too. Yeah, look, another little out route. See it, Tim?
Yep. Bang. And using Tyreek as the deep decoy.
That's it. I'm telling you. They're
them up over there. Yep.
Were they in shell again? They were. Somewhat shell. Yeah, it gets a little more condensed shell, a little
in the red zone. Yeah.
But yeah, you're right, man. Stretch it out with Tyreek and then just hammer it. Look how quick the ball comes out from Tua. We talked about this, man. It's like a shortstop, right? Watch him fire this ball out of here and how quick. Bang. Not even a one-step drop. It's just open your hips and wing that.
For all we talk about the RPO, I mean, look at them here. They're empty, right? Empty set, 5 receivers, literally a half a step drop back and the ball's out. So we've got to be real disciplined with our pass rush approach today.
Yeah. And how do you combat that? You get up there and press, you know?
Yeah.
That looks a lot like, you know what that looks a lot like though on that route? It's pretty much that same combo, right? It's the Christian McCaffrey play on 4th and 2 where McKinney hammered down.
Yep.
That might be the matchup to look for, guys.
Yeah.
Xavier McKinney on Jonnu Smith. And when I say that, I don't mean strictly man coverage. I'm talking about make sure that no matter which way you're lined up here, you put Xavier McKinney on the same side of the field as Jonnu Smith, right? And that's what we're talking about in today's NFL. The safety, you got to play way more balanced safety position, right? There's no longer just a true strong safety, a true free safety. There's a whole lot of just mixing and matching. So
I like what you said about press man too, because you and I agree we're not huge fans of it.
Yeah.
But when you start getting down in that red zone and that field's compressed, you start getting down into the green zone. You're inside the 10. That's where you got to be able to play some press man. You got to be able to jam guys. You've got to be able to throw these receivers off. Like you said, even if you're in a cover 2 set, you know, your safeties are going to be a little bit closer. Everything's compressed down there. You got to be able to play some man, at least mix in some man calls down in that red zone.
Yeah. The key to stopping Tua, in my opinion, and this is over a multitude of years of watching him play, with the RPO game, you've got to be aggressive up front with the receivers. And 2, you've got to get pressure in his face. You notice both those throws, clean pocket, it's a shallow drop. You got to get off the ball, drive the defensive tackles into the lap of the quarterback and get your hands in throwing lanes. That's how you got to play it.
Yep.
So this week here, I would look for us trying to overload between the guards, maybe with a little odd front, something like that, especially if you go with more of a 5-man front from time to time and just push that pocket into his lap. That's how you beat Tua Tagovailoa. It's easier said than done. Obviously, their center's playing damn good football too. So.
Yep, exactly.
All right, man. You got a couple starred here. AFAM, please, no more jet sweeps. Amen to that, sir. And AFAM said, Tim, you were doing so good with sound bites. Then you got to play Dak. Hey, man, Dak Dak is Dak, man. You got to have
AFAM's
Dak.
over there like
I don't want to pat you on the butt and you poop my hand. So
The thing about the Dak drop, most people hear it, they go, I hate Dak Prescott. All I think about is us absolutely boat racing, because that Cowboys playoff game is when we wore the Dak button out. Let me tell you.
yeah. I think it's official to say that we broke the Dallas Cowboys last year in the playoffs.
Yeah, no doubt.
They haven't been the same since.
No doubt about it, man. All right, guys, I get out of here. My wife's going to kill me. We're supposed to be watching the parade together, so I'm going to get downstairs. Appreciate y'all making us part of your Thanksgiving festivities. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. So thankful for each and every one of you taking time out of your day to hang out with us. It's been a blast building this channel, building this community. Like I said, I look forward to the future, and we will see you guys tonight for the post-game show. Going to be a late one, obviously. Kickoff is roughly 8:20 my time. It'll be 7:20 Lambeau time, so we'll be up late tonight, but that's all right, Tim. We'll try to get some sleep after that third plate of food at about, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So,
That's right. Celebrating the Packers' victory late tonight. Let's go.
That's right. This is me walking in with the canned cranberry sauce. That's right, boys. Listen, I was born in the housing projects and grew up and was raised for a couple years in a trailer park. I love the canned cranberry sauce. I'll leave that. I know people are going to hate on me in the chat, so we'll just leave it right there. Tim, thank you for your time, man.
Thank you, Clay. Happy Thanksgiving, brother.
You too, buddy. Appreciate you. We'll talk to y'all later. See y'all during the post-game show. Appreciate it.